All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the January 21, 2025 meeting of the Orange Town Plan and Zoning Commission. I am Commissioner Ozzie Parenti. Let's go around the table.
Tom
and introduce-
Tarenti.
Tom Tarenti.
Jenny Bowser, Recording Secretary.
Kevin
Fine.
Sorry.
Bonnie Say.
Kevin Cornell.
Judy Smith.
Jack Demerjen, Zoning Administrator.
All right, we're all here except for Paul Kaplan. Did you say he was ill or?
Jamaica.
Oh, that's right, Jamaica,
Jamaica.
right, okay.
Not quite.
All right. So, yes,
Jamaican
first,
crazy.
first order of business this evening is a review of the minutes from the January 7, 2025 meeting. I had just a couple of questions, Jenny, on page 2. Well, one was a typo, I think, CFO, I think should be C of O, right? On the third line,
Oh, yeah.
certificate of occupancy, right? And then, let's see, 2 lines up from the bottom of that first paragraph. The line begins, "The appearance of the building will be altered as well." Was that what they said, or was it just signage, or was it the color scheme of the building?
It'll be signage and the color scheme.
I mean, the building itself, though, is not gonna change.
Correct, yeah, there's
anything.
no-
I mean, that was.
There's no architectural changes, just,
That was the only thing that I thought might be confusing, is
Okay.
we just referred to, the color scheme of
so,
the exterior
so
of the
the
building.
signage and coloring of the building will be altered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay.
And that was all I had. So, we need a motion to approve the minutes. Judy wasn't here, though, so we need,
I'll make a motion to approve the January 7th, 2025 minutes as amended.
Second.
it's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One abstention.
And one abstention. All right. Next item on our agenda is old business. Do we have anything to talk about under that category? No? How about under new business? All right. Jack, do you have a report for us?
Very short report tonight. For our recertification letters regarding the elderly in-law
Yeah.
units that we were doing, we are nearing the deadline of January 31st. As of right now, we have 55 out of 84 recertified. There's been quite a few people that have called and said, we abandoned that unit a long time ago. We never, ended up even installing it for a few of them. So it's not that the remaining people all never contacted us, but, as of right now, we have about 2/3.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Good progress.
So that is our January 31st deadline. So that is going to be our last day that people can come in before I'll be filing something on the land records signifying that they have failed to recertify. Just a reminder that.
That's the second effort to?
Yeah, I think we even sent out 3 rounds.
All right, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Next meeting, we will have a special permit on our agenda, so we will be meeting in a few weeks. And just a reminder for everyone here and in TV world, workshop, the second workshop for our POCD revision will be on April 2nd. And that will be at the same place as the first one, at the Community Center cafeteria.
Okay, sounds good.
And that's all I got for you.
All right, then, the only other item on our agenda this evening is our public hearing. And it's a petition to amend the Orange zoning regulations. This is submitted on the initiative of the commission. And it is to amend section 383-19 of the Orange zoning regulations to install a temporary moratorium on smoke shops, tobacco stores, and/or vape shops. Do we have the legal notice?
We certainly do. I'd be happy to read it into the record if you'd like.
That'd be fine, thank you.
Sure. To appear one time on Thursday, January 9th, 2025, and one time on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. Orange TPZC Notice of Public Hearing. Notice is hereby given that on Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, at 7 p.m. at the Orange Town Hall, 617 Orange Center Road, the Orange Town Plan and Zoning Commission will conduct a public hearing on the following. Petition to amend the Orange zoning regulations submitted on the initiative of the Orange Plan and Zoning Commission. To amend section 383-19 of the Orange zoning regulations to install a temporary moratorium on smoke shops, tobacco stores, and/or vape shops. Copy of this notice has been filed with the Orange Town Clerk. Additional information is on file in the Orange Zoning Department. Dated in Orange, Connecticut, this 8th day of January 2025.
All right, thanks, Jack.
Yep.
All right, so, our interest in taking a look at this, is, basically, we've been asked to. The Board of Selectmen, heard testimony, I guess, from Stacy Johnson, who is, a social, Director of Community Services for the town of Orange. And, she, stressed the importance of regulating or maybe abolishing that particular use in the town of Orange. And my understanding, based on a memo that the first selectman circulated to us, is that the Board of Selectmen unanimously agreed that it's something that we ought to take a look at, because ultimately it would be us who would change the regulations to either regulate the activity or stop the activity in any zoning district in town. I had hoped that there would be people here tonight to inform us, to speak to the issue, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. So I don't know, I mean, we can, the language of the proposed moratorium, there's nothing exciting about that. I think
But I think there might be a typo or a repetition of a line.
okay,
All deference to Owen's prose. So if you come down about halfway, where the sentence starts out, except such smoke shop, tobacco store, and/or vape shop in existence on the date that this regulation, okay? Now put a parenthesis around, is published in a newspaper having general circulation in the town of Orange, close a parenth. I think that line's not supposed to be in there, because if you read it without that line, then it makes sense to say that if a smoke or vape shop's in existence at the time, except that such smoke shops that are in existence, all such usage are prohibited. Something in there's, I'm having trouble with. Unless you guys can read English.
it's kind of an awkward sentence, but
It is.
I do understand I think it's correct.
It is correct.
It's just not the best sentence ever.
I mean, would a comma after regulation
I-
allow it to make more sense?
Well,
if it's-
because, no, but they're saying in existence on the date this regulation is published in a newspaper, so I don't think a comma there would help.
Right.
I think it's awkward because he's taking language directly out of the zoning statutes that says a newspaper having general circulation in the town of Orange. That's how the statute is written for the
Right.
legal notice of decision. So maybe that's why, but it is an awkward sentence.
How about if it said, except that such, so how about, except such smoke shops, tobacco and/or vape shops, plural, that are in existence on the date that this regulation is published.
That makes sense to me. Except such smoke shop, tobacco store, and/or vape shop that would it be
That
is?
Are in existence
That are,
on the date.
Isn't it is? Is in existence?
Well, it's plural, so isn't it are?
Well,
I'm not the English major.
but we're talking about smoke shop, tobacco store, and vape shop.
And they're all written in the singular. if
That's
there's-
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless we add
That's what
S's
I'm
to all of
thinking.
them.
I only go by what sounds right.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay without that too, so.
Then do what you want.
All right, I mean, let's make that change.
Yep.
There's, I mean, the
I
idea.
mean, we know what it means.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is if you're in existence, when the thing, when this is published, when this regulation is published, then you're
You're trying to
protected.
continue your
Yeah,
business.
you're
Yeah.
grandfathered in.
you're
Right.
pre-existing. Yep.
Yeah, so it's
pre-existing.
just speaking to any future use of that type. It's not gonna be allowed for 182 days, following the date the regulation is published in the newspaper. That's the duration of the moratorium. So, do we wanna hold off on this until we have some testimony from the public? I don't imagine this has been circulated to the department heads at all. It might make sense to have it circulated to police and fire and,
I know I've mentioned it to the fire marshal's office, the Department of Public Works, I've spoken with the town engineer. I can't say I've spoken with anyone from the police department regarding that, I'm sure they would be in favor of it. But no reason we would have to close it tonight if we wanna wait for testimony.
yeah, I mean, we have
Well, I mean-
we have Jim's memorandum,
Is that in the record?
which we could put in the
We could-
record.
Right, and
Yeah.
that, the Stacy woman, could we enter that into the record? But the thing is, like, with the moratorium, if we vote, starts today,
It would start on the day of
Published.
the
published.
notice in the paper,
So we
correct.
have 182 days to put it on an agenda or two, seek public testimony, maybe ask people to attend that have an opinion on it, and then we hear that night. Like, the fact that
Yeah.
nobody's here tonight is okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that we can't move ahead with it tonight, you
Right.
know?
And then at some meeting or meetings down the road, we put it on, and the public,
Yeah.
maybe the stakeholders know, and they can come and give us
Right.
evidence.
I tell you what, let me read Jimmy's memorandum.
Yeah.
This is dated November 14, 2024. It's addressed to me, Chairman Parenti, Town Planning and Zoning Commission, from James M. Zioli, First Selectman, regarding smoke and vape shops in the town of Orange. And it says, at the November 13, 2024 meeting of the Board of Selectmen, Stacy Johnson, the Director of Community Services, and Chantel Bonnell, the Youth Services and Prevention Coordinator for the town of Orange, were present to share information on youth vaping and smoke and vape shops in the town. Youth vaping has become a national health crisis, and the addiction it creates is much worse than cigarette nicotine. They were looking for support from the Board of Selectmen to place a moratorium on smoke and vape shops and levy restrictions on them. It was explained to them that the Town Plan and Zoning Commission is the board that would handle that. The selectmen were all in support of their request, and a motion was made and unanimously approved to encourage the Town Plan and Zoning Commission to levy restrictions and limit smoke and vape shops in the town of Orange. Please consider this request for action. Thank you, James M. Zioli, First Selectman. So I think, that's what obviously prompted us to get it on our agenda, to kick the idea around a bit. So, I guess what we can do now is close the public hearing and put it to a vote. And then, as you say, Judy, at some point over the next 6 months,
And I would.
Take a
sure
hard
we
look
invite,
at it.
You know, get Stacy
Yeah.
and Chantel here because they have information that
And
would
we-
be
and we-
helpful.
right, and we might as well, advise the police and fire emergency services that, this'll,
Maybe Board of Ed,
yeah,
they might want to give some input.
yeah. So if we're gonna do it, let's do it, get the testimony in the record, and so there's some clear explanation as to why we did what we did. Whether it's to regulate, ban it, allow it, or whatever. How's that sound? All right then, so, if we don't think we need any information from the public, or anything else at this time,
On the
In order-
moratorium
Yeah,
per
just the
se.
moratorium. That's what we're
moratorium.
voting on tonight, yeah.
do we have a motion to close the public hearing? All right, we have a motion to close the
So
public hearing.
moved.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Been seconded by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye, okay. So let's put it to a vote if that's what we think
Well,
makes sense.
So, just procedurally, okay, so we vote on a moratorium. Then somewhere in the next 6 months, we're gonna have some sort of hearing to take in input as to whether we should continue to allow it as it's in the regulations, eliminate it as a
Permitted use.
permitted use in Orange, or something in between
Regulate it
the two.
to some way
that-
it isn't right
We
now.
could make it a special permit. It's permitted but not as of right.
Okay,
But permitted
So we have
by
options.
special permit,
All right.
or is prohibited.
all right, and,
And then prohibited in, all districts, or, that would be one question. I mean,
Right. so basically, we're taking a legal regulated activity because people are using it illegally, the product, because they're youths, and it's not
Yeah,
supposed to.
I'm not even sure that that's
Yeah, I
necessarily
don't
the
know.
issue.
We were just asked to review it.
Oh, okay. But, oh,
And
okay,
may-
it seemed youth-related.
Yeah, it may be something that's
Maybe that.
just bad for youth in the community, but bad for the community in general.
Okay,
Something that, we don't feel ought to be a permitted use in the town anymore.
right. And then, just out of curiosity, so say there are 3, what we'd call vape shops in town now, I don't know what the number is,
I think I counted 5.
5. If you decided to prohibit it going forward, right,
Yeah,
those would be
non-conforming
existing
uses.
non-conforming uses.
Yep.
What happens to them when, say they have a 5-year lease, their lease comes up? Can they renew their lease?
Yes, at that same location, yeah.
Or somebody new could come in and use it. The use is not abandoned until it's put in writing formal abandonment. So if the smoke shop even goes out of business for a year, somebody else comes and buys it, it can continue to be used for that.
Okay. It's just general
Similar to
information I think
the,
people are interested in.
Similar to the religious retail store on the corner of Derby Avenue and Orange Center Road,
Mhm.
which at one time was a
Florist.
florist shop. Then it was something else, and now it's what it is. And, I think we probably said no to some opportunities there, or just, some proposed uses that we didn't think were enough like the present non-conforming use to be able to approve them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so, any other comment? All right, then, do we have a motion to approve the proposed amendment to our regulations? Who's prepared to make that motion? Paul's not here tonight.
I will make that motion. Approve the motion to petition to amend the Orange zoning regulations submitted on the initiative of the Orange Plan and Zoning Commission to amend section 38319 of the Orange zoning regulation to install a temporary moratorium on smoke shops, tobacco stores, and/or vape shops.
All right. And that's, it's pretty straightforward as to what we're doing here. I mean, basically, that use is not gonna be, we wanted time to figure this out and decide what we
Invest.
wanted to do. So we don't want, 3 or 4 similar use, that use in 3 or 4 different locations to come in while, we were thinking about this. So, okay, we have a motion to approve the text regulation, text amendment. Do we have a second?
Second?
It's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. All right, so that gets,
That will appear in the paper later this week, probably
we didn't
Tuesday.
set an effective date,
There, I believe he says it in here.
It's when you can get it published.
Yeah, following the date that this regulation
Right.
is published, yeah.
Okay, very good.
And that starts the clock for the 182 days.
Yeah. All right, so we should get to this as soon as we
Yeah.
we
If-
can.
If we want to hit the ground running, we
Right,
can do that.
okay, and I know you provided a copy of what they've done in Milford.
Yeah, I did find a copy of what they did in Milford. I think they changed their regulations recently, within the last 6 months. Obviously, there's many different ways we could do it, whatever language, however we want to define these sorts of establishments. They went with the percentage of the floor area devoted to smoking and smoking accessory products. So I think if I'm remembering right, they said if more than 20% of your floor area of your gas station, convenience store, is dedicated to these products, you would fall under a vape/smoke shop.
Okay,
There was something recently going on in West Haven also where there was some regulatory.
I think I do remember hearing something about that. I certainly don't know the ins and
Take a
outs of
look
it.
before the next meeting, please.
yeah.
I had some recollection that they were having trouble crafting an appropriate enforceable language, and it would become a Jack problem.
Okay, I'll certainly look into that for the next meeting.
Did they regulate based on proximity to similar uses?
Sorry, no, I
Yeah,
don't have enough
well,
detail.
we'll get into all that.
Sure.
In due course. Okay, so takes care of our light agenda for this evening. Someone prepared to move that we close the meeting.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.